Now this was just one of the nicest cruise nights that we've had. Karen and I always try to get our hour of walking in, walk the gauntlet so to speak. And it started off with a real nice Kawasaki here, and I looked at this close and I really couldn't believe how nice and clean it was. Luciano just sold one similar to this, not exactly the same, and his was nice, but this one was really nice. And no matter what angle you looked at it from, I was looking to find some rust or something that didn't look like it was the right part. It really looked nice. A beautiful rendition of the bike. But we come for two reasons. We want to see the cars and we want to get some exercise. And we usually get both. And pretty much what happens is every week there's always some new cars we haven't seen, some new people we meet. We do a little chatting. I really like to look at the custom paint work more than anything, and of course this goes back to my first car. The 2 years before I had a license, I had a car, and this was it right here. Something similar to that anyway. And I try to record for my friend John Pothier, who's recovering from some surgery. He's just restored a 63 Vette. I thought he'd enjoy, he always enjoys pictures of the Vettes. He's a Corvette aficionado of sorts. This is a 53, which I think is a relatively rare rendition of it. Really nice one too. And I look around, and the thing I'm always looking at is the quality of the paintwork. And the old Merc, obviously really polished out. I mean, I'm amazed at how nice some of these cars are, really just spotless. And I'm sure they go over them before they come to the show. They go over it with, you know, some Maguires or something. But it's pretty amazing. And even the ones that aren't painted yet, you know, they're working up to that as they do body work. And there's always some that are a work in progress. And you know, sometimes, you know, they haven't got, like this one here hasn't got the chrome done yet, or some of the other, maybe the other body work. But Karen particularly likes the 40s cars, and I kind of like the 50s cars. So we always have a good little discussion about what car we're going to get when we're too old to ride motorcycles. And some of my friends think that day is coming up a lot sooner than it really is. But I know there'll be a day. I'm not foolish enough to think that that my youth is my old age is going to last forever. Anyway, I really try, and I try to think of that day and plan for it accordingly, and well, but you never know. And I guess if you knew, it would take a lot of the fun away from what we're doing. But anybody that's never been down to one of these cruise nights, there's of course rows of motorcycles. There's always some original. This looked pretty unusual. Karen really liked the sidecars. And I've spoken to the guy that owns this many times at Rutt's Hut. He seems to be a Rutt's Hut kind of a guy. And I've seen him taking various people for rides, and I'm just looking at it and I'm wondering, you know, I guess, well, we saw one up by the Ducati place too, looked pretty cool, but this one looks almost brand new. Maybe it is new, who even knows? There's so many mysteries to everything here. And that's the fun of going. There's always something you haven't seen before. There's always something that's a little bit new, a little bit different. Some of the 60s cars, and again, Karen had several of these. She had a 59. And so anytime we see a 59 or a 60 or a 61, it brings back memories. I like this. This is a nice, I always see some original custom plates. 6.2s. And boy, it had 6.2s. I can remember that as a kid thinking, wow, 6.2s, wow. Must go 300 miles an hour. Little did I know. But very, very cool. And there's usually, and you never know when, the Mustang guys have all kind of found their own little niche down by the end of the parking lot, and they all kind of hang out with the Mustangs together, which I guess is cool, because you walk by the Mustangs and you hear them saying, ah, those Camaros stink. Then you go by where all the Camaros are and they say, ah, who would buy a Mustang? So I guess that's the fun of having one of those cars. And this, of course, is the kind of stuff that there's just a lot of the older cars that are in really nice shape. Some that are customized, some that aren't. Some that are really blinged out. Some of these Mustangs even have the engine paint that I've seen one with the horses, Mustangs of course, airbrushed all over the valve covers and supercharger covers, and always something. Now this is cool. He's got a horse, a real horse, or it's a stuffed horse, or it's a very small stuffed horse. I never can tell. Maybe this car comes this way with the engine already painted and everything. I don't know, but very cool. Now I looked at the hood on this. I had never seen one of these hoods. This looked pretty cool. Always looking for ideas of stuff I can do to motorcycles, but a Corvair. And when I was a kid, if you had a Corvair, it was very cool. It was like having a Volkswagen Beetle. And this one looked like it was pretty nice shape, even though you don't see a lot of them anymore. Nice oldie with suicide doors. Karen's looking in to make sure there's no dead bodies in the back of the car. One for my friend Ed Captainelli. Old Buicks. Oh my God. One of the first girls I ever dated had one of these. Her family, actually, it was her father's car. And we went out in this old Buick, and I thought, oh my God, it was unbelievable. And we used to, it was really funny when we'd borrow the car, because I didn't have a license yet, we'd take the air filter off so that when you stepped on the gas, it went, whoa. It's amazing the stuff you remember when you get old and senile. Anyway, nice grill, tooth grill, that was kind of period. Some beautiful engines. I mean, these engines are whistle clean. Some of the old cars that are kept original. In New Jersey, when you have a real antique car and antique plates, it's QQ, the first two. On the historic motorcycles, it's only a 1Q. My two historic bikes are Qs. Actually, they're all the historic bikes are Qs. Some of the older Camaros. Now, it's funny that you hear the guys with the older Camaros say, who would want one of those new Camaros? And then you go down by the new Camaros and they're all crying, you know, who would want one of those old ones? I don't get that part of this. The custom car thing, I guess, is, I don't know. I guess you got to be part of it. Anyway, Chevy 2's my favorite. Only because I had two Chevy 2's with the big engine at the time anyway. Beautiful 57. And again, I try to record as many of the Vettes as possible for John Pothier, who's been such a good friend for many years, and I hope you're feeling better, John. 63 Coupe. And because my brother-in-law Roy Mangelsdorf was at one time the head of the Corvette Collector Club for a while there, I don't know, in the 70s or something. 348 Chevys. Wow. 3 deuces. There's just something for everybody. And it's just amazing the things you remember. Now, I remember Dodges with 3-tone color paint jobs. You really can't see. This is pink, tan, and white. And as Karen was walking out of the picture here, she said, yeah, I remember those 3-tone paint jobs. This blew me away, this little Mini. I had never seen one of these up close. This is really small. And this is like a modern Mini here. A more modern anyway. And Karen's checking this out, and she's going, yeah, when Karen was in college, they went to Europe on $2 a day or an 8 dirt or whatever they did over there. But it was, they apparently had one of those old cars to drive with. Now this guy pulled into the lot with this one over here, with his 56 here. He pulled in. This thing sounded like it had 1,000 horsepower. Some of the guys leave the headers just loose enough, the little plates on the end of the headers, so that they sound cool. And anybody from the old days knows you always had the block off plate, and you go to the drags, take the block off plate off. Oh my God. 6.2s. Oh my God. I guess maybe that's a real popular thing among car guys now, these old 6.2s. Like a Vette with a kind of a custom paint job. I don't know if that's really custom. My friend John will know, of course. And this one, it was all blacked out and had some extra little goodies on it. And I couldn't figure this out. He was parked by the Mustangs, so I don't know whether that was like they were trying to antagonize them or something. Some guy with some custom paint work here. This one was really like a rainbow, customized, and had some enormous engine in it. And I don't know. I don't even know which one of these engines is which. They're all buried under superchargers and turbos and nitrous bottles and whatever. And I just can't imagine you get into this without mortgaging your house. But it's fun watching other people spend their money. Another nice Vette. Nice older Vette. This one had exceptional paint. I don't know if you can see it in the picture, but this was buffed out like one of my motorcycles. This was buffed. And I imagine it's a ton of work to buff one of these cars out. It's a ton of work to buff out a motorcycle or a model airplane. Then my friend Billy Sargent had something similar to this, but it's a little Ducati. This guy had two of them here. I'm not sure what he was doing, just riding around the pits or whatever. And boy, these really rocked my boat. When I think of how many, when I was in high school, 3 or 4 of the real tough guys had these, and they'd roll their sleeves up and stuff, and boy, does that bring back memories. It seemed like there was more than a normal amount of vets there this night. Maybe they were all saluting John Pothier, I don't know. My doctor had one of these, my family doctor. Some unusual engine there, Alfa Romeo. Look at that little engine. Wow, little, I don't know, that might fit in a motorcycle. You look at some of the engines, the 3 deuces, the 6 deuces, the deuce deuces, the moosey deuces, the new guys that just have a ton of money and don't do anything, guys that do everything. Look at a Gazelle. This guy's only got 3 deuces. Look how nice and clean that engine is, though. And he's got the chrome firewall, so you can see it looks like he's got 2 engines in the car. Very cool. Again, I've seen this car before. The paintwork is off the chart. This guy is a buffing fanatic. And he stands like a mother hen by the car. He won't let anybody touch it and put a fingerprint on it. But the paintwork, there's 3 or 4 cars that I looked at that I just said, they're a 10. Texas manufacturer test car. I wonder if he was testing to see how fast it would go or something. And there is really something for everybody. I don't care what kind of cars you like. There's something. The nice thing is it's all free. This is another custom paint. Wow. And I just think poor Vinny with trying to match this orange paint, and we're struggling to match it. Look at this. Look at the paintwork on this. And that car, trust me, is buffed like one of Wendy's motorcycles. That is buffed. You walk by that and there is not a speck on it that isn't supposed to be there. It's probably got a custom hood. Oh, it is a custom hood, so very, very cool. I tried to get a picture of this guy pulling in. He had some wild sound and stuff going on under the hood. And of course, everybody's got something going on under the hood here. And just like what we do up on the top of the mountain, everybody wants to go look at the other guy's motorcycle. The car guys want to see your engine, they want to see your wheels and see how many hours of buffing you put in your paint. And then, of course, this busload of, I don't know what this is even. They were having a party or smoking pot or something on that bus, that's for sure. It seemed like there was a big party going on inside that bus. And Karen, the one thing Karen will give me credit for, she says, if you get one of these old cars, I want you to paint it. So when we go to cruise night, you can tell everybody you painted it. Well, guess what? That's what my plan is. Now, I had never seen one of these. I don't know if this is a real thing or a fake thing. A COSWORTH Chevy Vega. But it really had a COSWORTH engine. Or maybe he had like a fake thing, like a West Cooley paint job on it or something. But he had decals on it, and he had... Well, maybe that really is a COSWORTH engine. I guess it is. And of course, COSWORTH stuff is really high-tech stuff. There's some real Packard taillights there. This one has extremely beautiful paint too. Just another one if you're looking at the paint. Now, it's not unusual. The new cars seem to come with the paint really nice, and I guess the guys that really care do buff them out. But there are some that seem a lot glossier than other ones. I like to look at the exhaust pipe. And several of them have these pipes. There can't be a baffle inside those pipes. They are really loud. And when they do the thing pulling out of the parking lot, I was looking at this here, by the way. Not sure this color would be my first choice, but Karen liked it, and she said, "Yeah, that would look cool." Yeah. No, I don't know. You know, that's kind of one of those things. I'd have to really think about it. I don't know if Luciano would buy into that. But that color floats my boat. Anything, and I keep telling Larry he should paint his bike Yamaha metallic blue. Then he'd have the only metallic blue Ducati ever. Oh, those valve covers. I remember as a kid lusting after those Chevy valve covers. The Giants team had their fan van. I don't know what this is. They were having a party inside there and drinking beer and everything. And this car, you may look at it and think there's nothing special going on until you look close. It's got a roll bar, and of course I'm a Chevy 2 guy. And look at the size of the tires in the back. Street legal, driven there. We saw them come in. What's coming out of those pipes is probably 110 decibels. Maybe more, I don't even know. But look at the size of those tires in the back. And it's got a full roll cage. Nitrous bottle, tank in the trunk, race seats, another nice old car. And then we went down and saw the second row of the Mustangs that are all blinged out. No, I don't know. I'm not a Mustang guy, so I don't know. Some of these are signed by Carroll Shelby or signed by Richard Nixon or signed by Bozo the Clown, I don't know, but they all seem to have something Carroll Shelby written on them somewhere, and I assume that adds to the resale value. I don't know. Look at some of these motors. Is that unbelievable when you think about it? Look at pipes and turbos and intercoolers, and it's like a B29 motor. Look at this. Very cool. It is so much fun to watch other people spend money. That is really some classy looking stuff there. Look at the headers. Some very, very powerful cars here. And some of them for real. Some of them when they pull in a parking lot, you know there's something going on under the hood just by the sound. Now, as I left this night, and I was hoping the next day is going to be a ride day up at the mountain, but I always look back. To pretty unusual to see a Woody Chrysler. Not many of these, I don't think. But as the night ended back by the house, I was thinking, wow, we're supposed to have nice weather tomorrow. Should be a nice night to see some of the cars and bikes up the hill.